Yo, what up, what up? For 20 Game Sports back again. Man, I'm on it this week, man. It's like my third or fourth video already this week, man. But y'all know what to do, man. Please hit that thumbs up button for me, subscribe, and then hit that bell button to get those notifications. So let's jump right into it, man. This is an interesting topic that I saw yesterday or this morning. One of them days, man. Shout out to the early birds, my man Hoop Jargon is in the building. Yeah, man, let's get it. So, if you haven't heard, man, Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. Am I not in here? Hold on. Somebody, my man Hoop Jargon say he can't see me. Check the camera settings. I can see myself. Anybody else can't see me? That's weird. If y'all can hear me, please let me know. I don't know what's going on. But crazy topic, man. Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. of the head coach of Alabama State says he wants to get it in with Alabama. Not right now, but eventually. Not right now, but eventually. And I'm sorry to say, man, that ain't what you want. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be facetious about anything. But Alabama, the University of Alabama is a whole different type of ball game. A whole different type of ball game where you can think about and what sport. We talking about football since college football is on the horizon right now, man. Having some issues with my background screen. It is what it is. But yeah, even in basketball, Alabama State don't want no part of Alabama. University of Alabama in basketball just came off a Sweet 16 run either last year or the year before last. So this ain't what Alabama State wants right now. And I will have to say this, I'm hopeful. I'm happy that Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. has this type of confidence in his guys, in his program, in himself, and his coaching style. But again, man, that roll tide train has been going on since Nick Saban got there. What was that, 2008, 2009? These dudes have 6 or 7 national championships, had a chance to win it last year, came up short against Georgia. Georgia finally got over the hump. I'm looking for my adult beverage. There it is. So Georgia finally got over the hump on that. But Alabama never rebuilds, man. They just reload. And I know Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., he's excited. He's ready to rock and roll with his guys. He had a young group last year. The coach that was there before them had a very young group. And I watched them play against Jackson State. And they showed some flashes of being good. But again, they were young. They had some young kids and a lot of key positions. All right, the quarterback was a redshirt freshman, if I remember correctly. So, again, Alabama State, is this what you really want? Is this the type of publicity that you really want? And we all know that Nick Saban he's never played an HBCU school, if I'm correct, or an in-state HBCU school. So that'll be a first. And then Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., he goes on talking about how it would be good for the program, it would be good for the campus, all these things. But my man Hoop Jargon did a great video earlier last week, I believe. And it's talking about Coach Prime and him saying that he's not ready for the University of Alabama. It's a great video. I had a chance to watch it earlier today. Y'all get a chance, go check it out. He can put it in the comments, actually, if he wants to. He had a great video. And Jackson State, we all know, basically right now is the cream of the crop. They're the talk of the town. Everybody wants a piece of them. And Coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, he's smart enough to recognize what he has. He's smart enough to recognize that his kids are not ready for the likes of Alabama right now. And he said it. He said, give me about a year or two. Makes sense. He continues to get these type of 5-star kids and 4-star kids coming in, man. Look, I said we got some late folks trickling in Appreciate y'all. Y'all make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button for me and subscribe. If this is your first time to the channel, thank you. Thank you for coming, man. So, again, we're just speaking about Alabama State and what is really the true vision that they're trying to have. And Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., yeah, he just put the link up. So, y'all go check that video out. Go check that video out. It was really, really good, man. And so, Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., he had this vision of having an in-state game between them and Alabama. And it doesn't make sense because my man Hoop Jordan, in his video, he talks about, demoralizing your kids. Demoralizing your kids. You can go play Alabama, sure. You're going to get a bunch of money. But your kids are going to get demoralized. More than likely, they're going to get embarrassed. Some of them may end up hurt. You don't want that type of, cloud on your program to start off this early, man. Give yourself about 5-6 years. Get the recruits in that you want. Get the players in that want to be there, that can compete at a high level. We all know Alabama State has great facilities. Great facilities. I've seen pictures. I've never been there per se, personally myself, but I hear they have great facilities. I've seen pictures, all this type of stuff. So when you have great facilities, especially with these younger kids now, you're going to get guys who want to come in. But you also have to win. So you start off winning the games that you're scheduled for now, and then you schedule the likes of Alabama. I'm going to put the stream link in, kind of done going on my little diatribe right here. So if anybody want to jump in, more than likely, more than likely, you're more than welcome. Let me get to this comment right there. My man Hoop Jargon says 2005 University of Buffalo football team key example. Yeah, he talks about that in his video. It's in the comments, man. So University of Buffalo got over $1 million, which allowed them to get new facilities, new weight rooms, and all this other stuff. But I think they ended up going like 1-10 on the season after getting a butt kick like that. That kind of stuff, them super, super bad butt kickings can take your whole season on a downward spiral. And it happens. I've seen it happen. I know homeboys that it's happened to. I know all these type of dudes. I've seen college coaches. I've seen high school coaches go through this crazy, crazy stuff. And he just corrected me, $1.5 million. Yeah, they got $1.5 million. Hey, bravo. Bravo. But your team went 1-10. In my high school, I remember playing in high school, right? We had a pretty decent basketball team. We ended up going to state, a game before state. And we didn't win our district. We should have. We had lost some very, very crazy games due to coaching, due to fatigue, and all this other stuff. But we had a team in our district that went 0-30. You had 30 chances to get a win, and you went 0-30. The crazy part about it, we almost lost to them the last game of the season, getting ready to go into the playoffs. But that's a different story. But what I'm trying to get to is when you're losing that badly, it's hard to get your guys to get ready for practice every day. It's hard to get your guys to have high morale, good spirits. So you get in your butt kicked, you knowing that you're going to get your butt kicked every single time you step on the field or the court. It's not good for your program, man. It's not a good look for your program. Yeah, you can go out there and tell the recruits, hey, man, we're going to play the University of Alabama. You come here, you can be around your people, you can be at HBCU, and you still get a chance to play the University of Alabama. Great bargaining chip. But more than likely, you're going to get your butt kicked. You're going to get your butt kicked. Shout out to my man Hoop Jordan. He jumped in. I think he probably at the workout still. But let's see what he got.
Yeah, like if anybody knows about demoralizing guarantee games, that would be your resident specialist here, aka Hoop Jordan. And all about it. I say, I know all about that. I know. Yeah. And in particular, man, for those who haven't seen the video I put out, my junior year, we played against University of Texas. And that's when they had LaMarcus Aldridge, PJ Tucker, and Boobie Gibson on that team. So obviously a stellar team. And yeah, we took that good old 6-9 beat down, lost by 72 points. And to be honest, it just was a bad place game on top of playing at University of Texas, because that same season we played University of Louisville, we lost by like 25, and it didn't kill our morale. And at the time, Louisville was the number 3 team in the nation or something to that effect. And it actually gave us confidence because it was like right at the beginning of the season, but the placement was so bad because it was right after Christmas break. And we had guys trying to, I guess we had the few days off, and that was supposed to be a tune-up game. But in my opinion, you do a game like that when you're at your apex if you want to take a guaranteed game. You don't take it right before conference. And that game was right before conference when we started the SWAC. And again, we took that 72 point ass whooping, and we didn't come we didn't come into, because I think our first game we played was against Alcorn. And man, it just was kind of hard to get our legs up under us, man, because that was a major beatdown. And this is like 2006, so the internet wasn't as prevalent like that. But the word around town was we got our ass whooped, so it kind of made us feel the team morale took a dip in the sense that we were kind of seen as losers, like, off rip. And those kind of things, I mean, you should be able to overcome it as a Division I athlete and all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. But the human psyche is a human psyche, man. And what you don't want to do is have, guys, at these key moments of the season with their morale on the opposite end. And Coach Prime also mentioned this before, we at Prairie View, we played Jackson, as we all know, the SWAC championship, how we played Texas A&M right before that game. And we got our ass mollywopped. And I think one of our running backs got hurt that game as well. And it just, from a confidence standpoint and from a personnel standpoint, it just was a bad game to take, even though I know we cashed out on that game. But it's just like, damn, man, like you got to kind of do a cost-benefit analysis, literally, to see if it's worth taking a game like that at the detriment of your whole program.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. We played, let's see, University of Missouri. We probably had a better chance of winning that game. We played the University of Arkansas. That was a huge hell no. And shout out to Chica Girl. She said, everyone go check out. Yeah, man, y'all make sure y'all go to the online store, man. Check out the gear, man. It's we're trying to get it popping, man. So YouTube has now allowed me to integrate my Teespring store on my streams, on my videos. So anytime you're watching a video, you might see a link that pop up. So appreciate that plug right there. Forgot all about that. I always forget to mention that crap, man. And you like what we do on this channel, man, hit the cash out, man. That's right there scrolling at the bottom. So, but yeah, man, we played the University of Arkansas. They had Patrick Beverly as a freshman, a guy named Sonny Weems, who ended up playing in the NBA for a little bit. Super, super major bounce. We had no chance in hell winning that game. And basketball morale is a little different because you got more games to go. All right, you got at least 25 to 30 games in basketball. In football, you get 10 to 12 games a year. That's it. So taking a beating like that can literally weigh on you. It can take maybe up to a month for your group to get over that situation.
Yep.
So that's why I posed this question. I think is the title of it. Does Alabama State really want this action? Just think about it. The University of Alabama is one of the most recognizable collegiate football programs ever, if not the most. And these dudes have been on the run since 2008. I think they have 6 or 7 national championships. Do you want to go out there first 2 games of the season somewhere in there and sign up to play against Alabama? Or even if not that, if you got to go play in your classics, you got to play in your rivalry games, you go play against Alabama towards the end of the season when they really, really rolling. Now they're going to use you probably as a practice game, try some stuff out, and they still have the ability to beat you by 30 or 40 points.
Try 70, because Alabama rolls up people in their conference by 40. So let's put this in the proper context.
I was being generous.
You've been way too generous because Alabama rolls up SEC teams like that. So
yeah, on the regular.
Yeah, on a regular they do this. So I mean,
On the regular.
I like Coach Confidence, man. You know, because at the end of the day, man, the SWAC has been on a lot of people's radars pretty irrelevant for hell since Eddie Robinson, OG, been a part of the conference, right? As far as football is
Yeah.
concerned. Now there have been little blips here and there. Your Steve McNairs of the world, your Tavares Jackson, Alabama State, the late Tavares Jackson. So it's been little blips where Grambling had like Bruce Eugene. So we've had some upticks. But overall, like from the public consciousness, SWAC football is a joke. So now we got a microphone now, and the microphone's actually hot. It ain't one of them church mics with the cord go all the way back to the that speaker. You know, we got the mics now with a logo on it, right?
Yeah.
So if it's your time to promote your program, and I'm not mad at that in the sense that, again, the mics are as hot as they've ever been. So this is the time when you get your rocks off right now, and that's cool. But to your point, you don't want to bite off more than you can chew, because it can really set your program. Can you hear
It
me?
kind of glitched out. It glitched out for a
Yeah,
second.
I had my phone going. Somebody called, but
Yeah.
you better have your personnel intact, because I mean, Coach Prime is gonna keep getting better at recruiting, so he can say that what he said. Now, I still don't quite think a year, hell no, but at least he gonna get guys like Travis Hunter, or at least he gonna be in the running. Like, you know, all respect, all due respect to Coach Robinson Jr., but I don't think Bama got that kind of appeal to be talking that yang to actually go against Bama and have a formidable football game. So that's just how I see it.
Yeah, and my first thought was go dominate your conference first.
Bingo.
And it's the same thing I tell these parents, man. I be on Facebook and I see all these parents talking about their 9th grader and their 10th grader, maybe 1 or 2 games that they're playing 17U, and they have 1 or 2 really good games. He hit 4 threes against such and such in the 17U game. He's only a 9th and 10th grader. And I'm like, so what? In 2 years, those dudes he was playing with, they won't even be there. They'll be a freshman or sophomore in college. How about you dominate your class on a regular basis? Because those are the dudes that you are competing against for the rest of the 4 years of your high school career. Those are the guys you're competing with for his high school stats and getting a scholarship offer. So I'm like, man, miss me with that crap about, oh, he's just only a freshman, he's playing 17 years. So what? Because those guys that you're playing with, they won't even be there. And so the guys that you are in the class with, eventually they're going to get better. And this is why you see kids that are highly ranked when they're freshmen. Then when they get to be juniors and seniors, everybody else then caught up. So my thought is dominate your conference, dominate the people you're playing against on a regular basis. Then you can go out there. Then we can talk, as my man Coach Clemens would say.
Yeah, there you go. And Mikey Williams, anybody? Mikey Williams was dominating as a young freshman, kid moving up as a freshman, like one of the best in the nation, right? Mikey Williams' profile has dropped off so bad, man. Golly, man. His stuff done fell off like cross-color clothing wear. Shit, you know, like, you know, finding Mikey Williams, you know, that's like, who is Mike Jones? Like, where's Mike Jones kind of thing, you know? So you just never know how it's gonna shake out, and you're absolutely right, because, you know, parents, you know, you love your kid, and that's cool. You see your kid in the best light. That's cool. You're supposed to put life into your kid. That's cool. Mm-hmm. But in the actual sports realm, coming from, like, you know, upper level high school and D1 and above, like, listen, man, everybody love their kids, man. There's a whole bunch of love amongst their kids, especially if their kids got some athletic talent. So that doesn't give them an edge, and your personal bias. It would just behoove you to tether that to reality. And I'm glad I'm gonna have Dane on tomorrow on my show, because Dane does a really good job of. And for those who are listening, Dane is a scout for the Phoenix Suns. He works for the Suns, and he's been a personal friend of mine for the last 6-7 years. But Dane, he walks you down to like what the numbers look like, What do scouts look for? Can your kid do the basics? Is your kid coachable? Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. So I would bet my bottom dollar, Will, when these parents tell you about how many points they scored on X player playing 17U, I bet they don't talk
Yeah.
nothing about how many screens they came off of, how many times they successfully guard their man. I bet they don't talk about none of that shit.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's kind of the problem.
I bet every dollar I got. I already know. I bet every dollar I got that they don't talk about it. They don't talk about um, rebounds. They don't talk about getting on the floor. They don't talk about keeping their eyes up when the coach is talking to them. They don't talk about none of that stuff. It's all about offense, all about how many points they score, which is fine. You got parents over there watching how much time the kid gets before they get subbed out. Like it's I miss AU, but I don't miss that part of that aspect of it, man. It's just crazy stuff for some of the things parents used to do, man. So I'm gonna pull this article up, man. It's about HBCU sports, I believe, and they, they kind of quoted Eddie Robinson. I think he said this the same time that Coach Prime was asked about his desires to play Alabama or whatever. So this is probably at the SWAC Media, David, which happened last Thursday. And then it's talking about, Nick Saban says he has never said he's an advocate for playing in-state schools. But like I said earlier, I don't think he's ever played an in-state HBCU. That's for damn sure. So that would be the first, man. And then Coach Eddie Robinson was saying that it would be a huge deal for them. It'd be a huge deal for the kids on campus, for the school, for the alumni and all that stuff. That's all fine and dandy. But when that ball kick off in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, because you're going to go play at Tuscaloosa, Alabama, there's going to be 80,000 people in there. When that ball kicks off, everybody wants to be the star until it's time to be the star. Like, when that pressure is on, man, my dad used to say, man, pressure bust pipes all the time. When you get that first return and them dudes are flying down the field, you're going to see who's ready for that action. And I can guarantee you a lot of them, it's going to be like, all right, Coach, why you sign us up for this, man?
Hey, man, when that popcorn start popping, man, you'll see who down and who ain't. I swear, playing ball, Division I level, I've seen guys, man, I call them PPs, practice players. These dudes being practiced are unstoppable in practice. But it's just something about getting in that same gym when you can smell the popcorn, you see a few little booties getting to the seats. Some dudes just ain't got it, dog. And I'm just like, dog, why can't you do what you do in practice every day? Because me, I was opposite. In practice, I used to save my energy, so I wasn't a great practice player. But I was a gamer, though. So you put me in the game, I know what to be. I'm going to make smart plays, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But there's some guys who just ain't got it like that. And to your point, when you play in Tuscaloosa, like, that's the apex of college football. And what you are is you're inside your mind really tough. And again, I can apply this playing against University of Louisville, pack house at Freedom Hall. And before that tip went up, man, I was so much into my mind. I couldn't, oh man, it was crazy. It was crazy. But once that ball went up and I actually won the tip against the 7-footer, I went in autopilot. I was good. But it got a steal real quick in the game. So I did well. But some dudes just can't leave that stage of nervousness, man. And so, like you said, man, it's a whole different monster. And I'll say another quote. Kobe Bryant had this famous video where he was playing basketball against Lil Bow Wow. And he, of course, Kobe did his Kobe thing. Lil Bow Wow was like, yeah, I got a partner. He's 6'6" like you. Yeah, he got game. He's like, bring him out here. This dude, Kobe just, you would think he would play him straight up, like, facing up and taking jumpers. Kobe backed that dude into the bleachers.
All the way down.
Every time.
All the way down.
And Kobe was like, it's different when you look at a great white through the glass than when you actually in the tank with it. So.
Oh shit! You know what? I'm gonna bring up this video, man. Right now, it kind of ties into what we were saying, and this is oddly enough, this is against the University of Alabama, and it's just another school, highly remembered for all the greats that they didn't had at their school. They're California's biggest most known football program, and Alabama goes out there and beats them by 50. So look how these dudes come out the tunnel. How they come out the tunnel. And this is what I'm saying, man.
I think
more than likely this is going. Am I freezing?
You good now? I see you now.
All right, yeah. So let me bring this up real quick. So look how these dudes come out the tunnel. They crump. They happy as hell.
America, when it comes to the
they happy as I don't know what.
Everybody is to see.
Look, they ready to rock and roll. That's kind of loud.
I remember that.
This is not too long ago. This is a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So look, they got USC has one of our favorite phrases is, man, everybody can't do this. And Alabama destroyed them dudes. This was a couple years ago because Jalen Hurts was still the quarterback, man, and USC was talking all this crap about them being back on the uprise and all this other crap, and they were bringing in the Reggie Bushes of the world and the Matt Liners of the world, and Alabama destroyed these dudes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, absolutely destroyed these dudes, and USC probably hasn't recovered since then. So, Alabama State, again, is this what you really want? I'm asking this question because at the end of the day, if you sign this deal within 2 or 3 years to go play Alabama Roll Tide, that's going to be your bargaining chip. That's going to be your pitch to a lot of incoming recruits. Yeah, you can go to HBCU and you still play Alabama. So, are you going to be ready by then? And I just don't think it, man. Alabama's going to continue to roll, man. Until Nick Saban is gone, you're still going to see these dudes be pretty damn good, man. At the elite level, I want to say pretty good. At the damn elite level. So, at the end of the day, every year you can count on Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, which for some reason BCS people, they love them. Georgia. Who am I missing? So literally 5 or 6 schools every year is playing for the national championship. And you want to sign your dudes to go up and do this?
Hey man, you gotta be ready, man. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a fun discussion, but if we're just gonna creep back into reality, to me, this is just like marketing. This is the way you bring awareness to your team. And I'm not mad at it, because if that's what he's doing, I'm good with that. Because again, man, the mics are hot now, like they normally have not been. So that's cool. It's just like, I mean, but at some point, to your point, all right, how serious are you about dominating the SWAC though? You need to be, having that same energy for Coach Prime, man. Like having that mentality to want to embarrass them. Like that's, I mean, in my mind, that's what I'd be more focused on. Not to say I wouldn't, take a shot at Bama, because again, it'll make for a headline. But I hope that there's competency what's going on with the program, and it's not just a lot of hot air. And as we know, Coach Tone Sewell, my guy, left, and I didn't ask him why he left. I just asked him, is the rumor true? And he confirmed that. But I don't know what happened for him to leave. I guess maybe he's homesick, because I know he's a Maryland boy, and going to Morgan State makes sense regionally. But I got questions about what kind of ship you run over there. I got questions. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because we literally interviewed Coach Sewell 2 or 3 days after he got hired, and he was super excited about it. And I didn't even know, because I did a video maybe last week and I was talking about it, and somebody was like, I couldn't think of his name at the time. And as soon as I finished the show, I immediately remembered it. Then somebody put in the comments man, talking about Coach Sewell, he left. I'm like, oh crap. Had no freaking clue, man. So again, there's questions that comes when you have a coach leave abruptly like that, who just left a really, really good program in Bowie State. To get out of there. And then, so like you said, maybe he was just homesick. So that might be the reasoning, man. But yeah, I'm with you about, you have to go out there and dominate the SWAC, man. So that's what basically Coach Prime is trying to do. He's literally trying to dominate the SWAC, win the SWAC title every single season, and go and play in the Celebration Bowl. That's a realistic goal because that's who you play on a year-to-year basis. Every now and then you get to throw in. I think Jackson State only has one FBS goal, which is Campbell, and I think they might be playing them on homecoming or something like that. I can't remember. But that's a decent school to go up against. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You have a chance to probably win that game, just like last year when they played ULM. If they could have got their offense going at some point early in the season, they probably would have went into the Celebration Bowl undefeated.
Yeah. I mean,
ULM to 4 field goals. I think the score was 12-7.
And on the flip side of that, they didn't have a great showing against FAMU. So, if it wasn't raining, who would say FAMU couldn't have probably got the best of them? So that goes to the sentiment that we're talking about as far as dominate your league first and then get to that stage where you can start calling other people out. That's the better way to go. And then, again, Coach Prime, just, a little bit of a pushback of not kind of running the table properly. I mean, no. I can only apply to this year. But you got guys like Travis Hunter who SWAC people ain't getting. SWAC folks ain't getting no Travis Hunter, especially on the first trip. Like right off rip. Now, we getting some 4- and 5-star cats at these schools, after they start, moving around a little bit. And as you know, those kind of guys tend to be some of, have some little other issues sometimes, whether it's at home, whether it's mentally or what have you, and it's the reason why a program will let you go. I look at a guy like Pass for my Prairie View Panthers, like in all things, equal, well, all things to be fair, Javon Pass gave us a great year. He got us in the SWAC championship game. End of the day, after going to Louisville, it's supposed to be Lamar Jackson 2.0. It didn't quite work out that way. But at the end of the day, he got us to the SWAC championship. Now, he laid a complete egg. He played horrible. But
he was god awful.
He's god awful, man. But at the end of the day, he still – you kind of see why Louisville will let him go, if that makes sense. So when I look at a guy like Travis Hunter, he's on the upswing. So right now, he doesn't know failure right now. He only knows success. And so it's kind of better to catch a guy on that from a mental trajectory where they're not defeated by failures and injuries and, it kind of messes with you a little bit. I think of another guy who went to Southern from University of Texas, a running back named Victor Ike. He came to Southern, University of Texas, like in the early 2000s, and he didn't have a great campaign in Southern. So, I've seen a lot of guys come from big programs and not quite pan out all the way. So it's just new territory where we get these guys off rip. And I'll give one more example. A guy named Tyrone Nelson. He went to Hempstead High School, which is right outside of Prairie View, Texas. And
I remember Tyrone.
Yep, 4-star kid. So Prairie View got a kid that I hate to say that you don't deserve, but you didn't deserve a 4-star kid straight out of high school. Tyrone came over there and murdered at Prairie View. But for whatever reason, he decided to, move around. I think he went to New Mexico State after that. And he still had a successful career. But my point I'm making is it's very rare you get these guys on the upswing. And generally speaking, if you get them like that, they will perform.
Off the rip, because they learn the culture, man. They learn the nuances of the conference and all those things, man. But like you said, with Travis Hunter going there off the rip, man, I'm excited to see this, man. I did a video earlier about him, actually. He just got a new NIL deal with Greenwood Virtual Banking or something like that, which is directly only towards Black and Hispanic folks, man, and Black-owned businesses and stuff. So shout out to Travis Hunter. For a kid that's 18, 19 years old that has his head on straight already, I'm highly, highly impressed, man. Highly impressed. And D-Lob is in the building. What up, D-Lob? What up, man? Appreciate you dropping through, man. So all you folks that's in here, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to both of these channels, mine and Hoops Jargon. You never know, man. We pop up on each other channels like all the time. Like it's just a bunch of impromptus. Like I was sitting in the house probably about an hour ago. It's like, man, should I do this Alabama State video? I'm like, okay, man, put it out, man. So we got the 10, 11 deep. So I appreciate everybody that's dropping through D-Live, man. But y'all make sure y'all be active in the comments, man. If y'all got questions, any thoughts about what we're saying, if y'all agree with us, don't agree with us, anything, man, just feel free to put it in the comments and we'll try to get to it. Ain't much more I can say about this. I just think it's, like you said, it's probably a good pub. It's a good to mention your name with the likes of an Alabama or Florida State or a Clemson and all this other things, man. And shout out to Clemson got one. That big kid that we both did a video about that had considered Jackson State. Clemson got another one probably a couple weeks ago. So to throw your name in those type of fires, you better expect to get burnt at some point, man, at some point in time. And again, I don't know who Alabama State plays this year, so why not worry about the guaranteed game that you have coming up this year within a couple of weeks, man? So I don't know why he was asked about the University of Alabama. Some reporter was probably trying to dig and create controversy, whatever it may be. But this happened at the SWAC Media Day, again, last Thursday. So I don't know. Let me pull this up. I think I'm looking at the wrong thing. No, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just look at it like this, man. Again, being a former SWAC athlete, I coached in the SWAC as well. I just remember when like nobody gave a damn about SWAC sports. So the the position I speak from is just from enjoying the fact that people even care enough to report on this stuff. People care enough to make videos on the SWAC. People care enough to critique the SWAC. Because I think that a lot of us who've been SWAC followers since been pimping, we know like the SWAC culture is crazy, but it's only like SWAC fans. And moreover, damn, they're only people who went to a SWAC school. Yeah. So now that people have a vested interest outside their bubble, this is a slow trickle-down effect to bring more awareness and more consciousness to what's going on. So I'm kind of talking on both sides of my mouth because, you know, I started in talking about how it's not a good idea to go against that. But in the same vein, I get how important this is from a promotion standpoint because everybody knows it, man. Like, it's just, you know, you go to the SWAC championship basketball game. We used to have it at the freaking Toyota Center. Ain't nobody in there. Now, SWAC championship football games be packed. So that's, you know, that's a different thing. But the SWAC as a whole, it's little patches. And it's packed if the traveling teams are like Jackson, like Southern, like Grambling. Now with FAMU, if we're being honest, because everybody else struggles to bring fans in. Kind of, sort of. So now it's like, people kind of have that little bravado now. They got that gumption now that they, I guess maybe just from a standpoint of feeling like nobody cares anyway, so I don't really care like that. But now, like, people talking about the SWAC again in good and bad light. So now people kind of, you know, dragging that Pine Bluff shirt out the closet that's been there forever. And now you're proudly and you're hopping, you know, and getting the Twitter fingers and talking shit online because, you know, buzz is there now. So overall, I think it's a good thing, even though when I put my coach and my player hat on, you know, it's a little foolish.
Yeah. And this is why I don't get the hatred that Coach Prime is having from, I don't want to say in the coaching ranks, but from like, you know, fans, the blue bloods and all of these people are not really accepting what he's trying to do right now in the SWAC, and it's bringing so much attention to your schools.
What do you mean by
your
that?
States? There are folks who are like not happy with, you know, Coach Prime being so boisterous, being out so much in the media. Like some people are just good with being in the background. Like some people are okay with just the SWAC being the SWAC. They don't want to see actual growth. Is what I'm trying to get to. I guess you could
pick me. Okay. I know these types too well. These types always got something to say about we need to do this, we need to do that. SWAC need to do this. They need to do a better job of marketing. They need to do a better job of blah, blah, blah. But they don't want to actually do anything that's going to actually get some stuff moving. How the old school say, putting legs on it. How do I know this? because I remember when, Prairie View has a beautiful stadium now. I remember when it was just in talks. And everybody was like, well, not everybody. A lot of old heads was in there talking about, man, where we going to get the money from? How we going to fund it? Man, y'all just going to drive up the budget all the way down with this. Because well, let me put it this way. Let me encapsulate it. Let me crystallize it perfectly. People are afraid of change, man. It's this easy Facebook meme. It was just like, it was a guy in front of a big crowd. And he was like, who all wants change? Everybody raised their hand. And he said, who wants to change? Nobody hand was up. And that's kind of what it is. It's easy to talk that shit. It's easy to talk that yang. But when it's time to put the rubber to the road, you're going to have scrutiny. And what it looks like is you a guy who is a provocateur of people, like a lightning rod, as it were, as Deion has always been his whole life. You need that to push the stuff forward, because we got Ashley Robinson, great athletic director, man. He was at Prairie View, man. I know Ashley personally, good dude. You got guys like Charles McClellan, as SWAC commissioner, who was my AD when I played at Prairie View. I know him personally, great dude. But at the end of the day, them two names in open space don't mean shit. But when you bring Coach Prime in and you got competent leadership, guess what you got? Progress. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's that simple, man. It's that simple, man. Shout out to my man D Lob. He said, hold on. He said, stop using Pine Bluff. That's simple.
Hey, if y'all ain't never been to Pine Bluff, man, hey, salute all y'all who can. Your boy been to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, like 5-6 times in my life. Hey, I'm sorry, bro. I'm good if I never go back.
That's tough, man. Man, but like, hey, Pine Bluff is supposed to be all right this year, from what I'm hearing, man. So we shall see that Everyday Sports says, why play and get beat up just for the money? And that's what we're basically talking about here. Like, too many times you see smaller conference schools like the HBCUs, the SWACs, the Southlands, the OVCs, and all these conferences go play these Power 5 schools, and they get murdered. You know, let me use a different word. Murder is a sensitive topic for it.
You got red rum.
You got red rum. You get demolished and all these things. Again, I see we got some late tricklers coming in, man. So make sure y'all tune in, stay with us. Have your questions ready, man. You know, put them in the comments. But that's what we're talking about, Everyday Sports. Why? Yes, the money is good. And again, my man Hoop Jargon has a great video he did last week speaking about this exact thing. And he was talking about the University of Buffalo, how they played 2 or 3 non-conference games, the guarantee games, and got $1.5 million. That's a lot of money for a small school. Got a brand new facility, weight room, equipment, and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, what did they go? What did you say? 1 in 10?
1 in 10.
1 in 10. So again, how do you get your players up every single day knowing that you're going into losing? You're going to lose the next week. How do you keep it's impossible. Go ahead.
I'll give you another example. So that same year was my junior year. I was at Prairie View. In conference, we went 2 for 16 or some shit like that. 2 for 16. 16 we went. And towards the end of it, like, again, morale was in the toilet, man. We actually had to get a person to come intervene, just keep us up enough to, like, show up to practice on time. Like, and I just remember it was bad, man. At the end of the year, we started the year off again playing against University of Louisville. We lost by 25, which is very respectable, and we were confident. Mm-hmm. But then we start taking beat downs, and to be fair, our coach, I'll leave his name out of this. You know, he had some emotional stuff that he wasn't fixed in his own personal life that would trickle into ours. So I'll put it like that. And so, but overall, though, the morale dropping. And by the end of the year, again, we would start practice 30 minutes after what he said, because everybody would just kind of drag ass into there. Like, nobody cared.
Yeah.
You know, the writing was on the wall. I got to say this. So, speaking of Charles McClellan, when we lost to the University of Texas, he comes in the locker room the next day because we were defeated. Like, I mean, not only on the score, but just in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 70 will do that to you.
Yeah. And so, you know, our coach got let go at the end of that season, but this was like one of the earmarkers of when it was. We knew that, like, all right, it's the beginning of the end. So, Mr. McClellan comes in, Dr. McClellan. He comes in, he says, he sees us. You know, we all had our heads down. We were, a little frustrated, or a lot frustrated. Like, hey guys, I did some numbers, and it's a true story. I did some numbers, and if y'all had a 35-second violation the entire game, we'd have only lost by 30. Right hand to the man, Charles. If you listening, tell me I'm lying. Charles McClellan, SWAC commissioner, said that to us. And at the time, I wasn't ready to receive that, and I was like, "Hey, what the hell are you talking about?" But as I got older, I just find that so funny, man.
That's hilarious, man. He came in with the algebra and
He came with the math,
the math, the analytics. Oh my god. But that in the moment when you lose by like that, you're not trying to hear anything like that. But that's freaking hilarious, man. Maybe if we were in high school still, somebody hit us with that, it probably would have got some laughs out of it. But God, dog, that's hilarious.
True story, all the way up and down. Man.
Oh my God! Shout out to Be Fresh, man. Be Fresh. I think this might be your first time to the channel. Appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe to Hoop Jargon as well. He said, "Do you guys think playing Power 5 schools make us better or hurts the team?"
Damn, I read that wrong. I thought that said like PS5. I was like, what kind of question is that?
My bad. It caught me off guard too. I guess it kind of ties into what we're talking about, because if you go out there and compete, give a good showing, you lose, or if you win, for sure, it's going to help the team morale. If you lose by like a late second field goal, anything like that, think about Appalachian State going into the Big House a couple years ago and beating those dudes on a blocked field goal. And now Appalachian State, I think, is a very damn good football program right now. And it all started with that moment. So that's the type of stuff that can happen. But usually that's not the norm. The norm is, that's why they call them guaranteed games. Mm-hmm. The norm is you go in there, you guarantee to get your butt kicked. You're going to get you some money, but you guarantee to get your butt kicked. So I'll let you elaborate on that.
Yeah, it's guaranteed that the check gonna clear. It's guaranteed. You're gonna get some TV time, and it's guaranteed. You're gonna end up on ESPN highlight reel the opposite way. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of guaranteed. I'm sorry, man. I've been on the ass whooping side of a lot of those, and they don't feel great. Now they feel good when you get to compete. And I'll give an example from a coaching standpoint. My last year I coached at Prairie View. We played University of Wyoming, UCLA, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Cincinnati, and there's another big school, Missouri. We played good in all 6 of those games. And in fact, against Wyoming, we lost by 8. It just was a rough game, and it came down to the bigs just kind of being a little too big for us. We lost to the University of Cincinnati by 5, and that's when they had Lance Stevenson.
Oh, wow.
And we were up 18 at halftime on them. Like, big old Oscar Robinson was at the game. He left at halftime. Everybody's booing.
Sick of it.
The coach was Kroom at the time. Kroom, I believe, was the coach. We lost to UCLA, and that was about a 25-point game. But if early on, it was a game. That's when they had Drew Holiday and your boy Collison. Aaron Collison. We lost to Missouri when they had what's that dude? It's not the Manimal, but he played just like him. Dude with dreads, dark skin, dude. He could do everything.
Missouri.
I think the Grizzlies picked him for a little bit. His name escapes me. I think it starts with a C. But we played well against them. Now, the one game we got drove was Colorado, and it was some old mental stuff going on with the team. And we played Iowa as well that year. So we played a lot of guaranteed games, and we look good. And that led to us, I think we won the SWAC outright that year. We had the player of the year, Darnell Huge, who's he just killed. He just killed all the way through. So it didn't kill our morale. But when I juxtapose that to when I played, doing that aspect of world tour, it just torpedoed it. So it's a chance that, like, I mean, if you trust your team like that, cool. But like as Coach Prime also said, that made a lot of sense. Football is different because that trench play is where the games are won and lost. So if you lighten the ass, from the DN and O line, D line and O line perspective, it's not a game to even be played. So all those things factor into what comes of these, and I just think it just doesn't bode well for us to be in those situations as we currently are from a roster standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. Think about Jackson State's offensive line last year. They were either dead last or second to last in sacks given up, and a lot of that had to do with Shedeur trying to make the home run play. I've done a video on that multiple times. He's not getting rid of the ball quick enough, but a lot of times they weren't even able to do like play action or 7-step drops because by the time he hiked the ball, the defensive line was already in the backfield. They're already in the backfield. So think about going against the University of Alabama, who had the defensive player of the year in the nation last year. I can't think of his name. Will Anderson, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
A monster. I don't know if he came out or whatever, but think about Jackson State's offensive line going against that dude for 60 minutes. That dude would have set the all-time record in sacks in one game.
Hey,
I mean, come on,
man.
It's gotta be. We gotta think logically, man. And so that's why we did this stream. D-Lob says Pine Bluff's women's team will be hosting University of Arkansas Razorbacks. Yeah, man, that's what's up.
And peep this, Will. Kenny Guyton, he set the Ohio State University record against FAMU. The 1 year he played, he over guys like Braxton Miller. I forget the other guy they had over there, Tom, and
the young man that just got killed, Cordell Jones, or what is that young man that just lost his life?
I think you think about Dwayne Haskins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's way after.
Yeah, you're right.
Cordell Jones was right after that era too.
Cordell Jones.
But I mean, Kenny Guyton, you remember little Kenny? He was.
Yeah.
So for y'all listening, Kenny Guyton Jr. went to the University of Ohio State. He sat the bench for 3 years, and then his senior year, Braxton Miller went down, so he got a chance to play significant time. Mm-hmm. And he's a kid who went to the same high school we went to, obviously being the kid of the dad. We saw him as a little kid grow all the way up. And it's funny, he only had one offer on the table, which was for Prairie View, but Coach Tressel called him out of nowhere. Well, I think maybe it was Urban Meyer. Called him out of nowhere like, hey, man, you want to come to Ohio State? And he just, on the 12th hour, he went to Ohio State. So funny backstory. Yeah. So with that being said, again, he wasn't a dynamic quarterback for them like that. He was a fill-in guy until, Braxton Miller got back healthy. But he set a record on Florida State, FAMU, and guess why? Because that trench work, he had all day to throw. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if that's not a good indicator of how that line play can affect the game between when it's sold a miss, then I don't know what it
is. Yeah, man. Excellent example, man. Shout out to Kenny Guyton. He is the wide receivers coach at the University of Houston now, I think.
I got another story. Right back. I want to get back to he's saying hosting the game. My year I finished at Prairie View. I came back to watch. We hosted University of Houston when they had Daniel House and they had Joseph Young, and both of those guys who were NBA guys. We beat them at Prairie View by 1 point at the crib. So I mean, it can go. So shout out to Pine Bluff Women's getting to host that game because sometimes you can get the best of them. Just not all the time, goddamn. So,
I would say this. I want to ask this: was that game during Christmas break?
The second one was. This was right before Christmas break because the house was packed. The house was packed.
So I'm asking that because they're hosting the women's team, the Razorbacks. And it depends on when they get a chance to play them. If they're playing them early in the season, fresh off, you get a chance. That's when everybody's still excited about the season. Now, if you're playing them during Christmas break, and you're probably going to have more Razorback fans than anything there. So, like you said, man, anything goes. Like I always say, man, throw the ball up and let's see what happens, man. And D-Lob is laughing at our comment. Yeah, man, Will Anderson would have set an all-time sack record. Man, y'all remember playing those video games back in the day when you put the sliders all the way down to zero Your kid didn't really know what you're doing. That's what that dude would look like playing against Jackson State, playing against Alabama State, playing against Bethune-Cookman, Pine Bluff, Southern, all these SWAC schools. So, but again, the conversation is happening. So I guess it's a 50-50 thing, man. In all reality, Alabama State do not sign up for this until about 5 or 6 years, again, until you can go out there and dominate the SWAC. So you can go in there and get 5 and 4-star recruits on a regular basis, like coming out of high school. That way you can develop them dudes through your program. You don't have to, reprogram the guys. So you get a guy in the transfer portal, they're going to bring some of the stuff that they were taught at the previous college. It's just human nature. But you can get a guy straight out of high school that's a 4 and 5-star kid, and you teach them your ways of the conference. It puts the leg up on you with other teams. So, again, my final thoughts, we're going almost at an hour, so we're going to close it. Alabama State, don't do this. Don't do this. Eddie Robinson Jr., I like your passion, but don't do this.
Hey, that's words from the wise to the wise. So yeah, I ain't got nothing to add to that.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna shut it down, man. Tomorrow at 2:00 for all those who are subscribed to this channel and Hoops Jargon channel. If you're not subscribed, this is your first time to the channel, I really, really appreciate you. I think we got up to like 20 at one point. Again, trying to do more and more stuff. Man, I got my action right. I finally not staying with family. Got my own spot back, so it feels good. So y'all gonna see more of this. Y'all gonna see more of us and all this stuff. We got the new background rock and roll. I think I'm gonna switch to the white one tomorrow, or something else, man. Keep my batteries charged.
You've inspired me. I might set mine up finally tomorrow since I'm off.
Man, go and pull it out, man. Shit, go and pull it out. It should have taken them like 10 minutes, man. So, but yeah, tomorrow at 2:00, we got Dane Irvin. Again, my man spoke about it earlier. Dane Irvin is a scout for the Phoenix Suns. He had a very respectable scouting service called, what was it, BI Reports or something like that.
Yep.
Very, very, been in the game a very, very long time. So he's seen almost every 5-star basketball player you can think of over the last 15 years, probably. So he has a lot of knowledge, and now he's with the Phoenix Suns. 2:00 tomorrow over on Hoops Jargon's channel. I'm going to be guest hosting. He's going to talk about all types of stuff, so y'all don't want to miss it, man. So you can go ahead and get your last plug in. We're going to shut it down.
There you go, man. If you're not subbed to the channel, man, check us out. We try to give y'all authenticity over here. That's why I bring a guy like Dane, who actually works for the NBA, who built himself up, and who I've always had him on the show before he even, got on it. I want to bring y'all quality. I bring guys like Malik Rose on the channel. I brought Cynthia Cooper on the channel. Coach KJ Black, who was formerly at FAMU. He's a quarterback at Prairie View. Now he's a coach for the LA Rams. So I bring people that I want you to learn something from their perspective, which is applied perspective. How can I forget my guy, Talvin Hester, who coached me at Prairie View. He coached me at Prairie View now. He was at University of Texas Tech. Now he has his first head coaching job at Louisiana Tech. He's building a show. So, I just want y'all to take something from it, because when I cipher, I talk to people of this ilk, and I argue too. So I don't just agree with them. I ain't no yes man.
That's damn sure.
You know that about me. I ain't no. But I hope you guys again like this cipher, this talk that we give y'all, these applied, firsthand, stories and things of that nature, because we did it at one point, and now we like to talk about it, and we bring in other people who can talk about it. And Chad Bell, like Will had on his channel, that was priceless having a guy like that on the channel. So I hope y'all appreciate what goes on over here, man. If you've not subbed yet, please sub to the host, Between the Game Sports. If you want to come over to my In the World and Hoop Jargon, it'd be much appreciated, man.
Yeah, man. So let me say this. We're going to get our guy back on here before the season starts. We had Butch Alcindor on this channel probably about 3 months ago. Say it again.
Yeah, I forgot about Butch. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah, we're gonna get Butch Alcindor. He is the SWAC media guy. He calls all of the SWAC games that are on TV. So we're gonna get him back on here before the season starts. So
he got a Cavill. So respect the HBCU voice. So yeah, man, we doing a little something, man. I hope y'all like what we put out.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night. Be safe. Be easy. 20 Game Sports. Hope Jordan. We out. Peace.
Peace.